Bad and boosted is a metagame where if you have a stat that is 70 or below, then that stat will get boosted to double. So if it was 70, then you would get 140 for that stat. So for example, Lucario has a good attack stat and has an okay speed stat. So actually, I guess its attack stat is only okay, to be honest. But its defenses are pretty bad. It has 70 HP, has 70 defense, and has 70 special defense. So after the boost, now it has 140 base HP and both defenses. So this Lucario is actually no longer a glass cannon. It is a tanky sweeper. And that concept travels through to the rest of these guys. So in this tier, you're going to see a lot of not fully evolved Pokemon to take advantage of those lower stats. But some really strong Pokemon as well, because Ubers are allowed in this tier. So Buttermane actually has really good defense in this tier, funnily enough. And Clefable isn't as good as Clefairy, I think, technically. So I'm a little bit surprised to see that, but you do see that occasionally. All right. We're just going to lead off with Kleavor, as they, in theory, should respect the Scarf Kleavor, but they may not. And they also might be Specs Leaf Storm or something. We'll see what they end up going for. As they just go for Flower Trick, which is fair. And that does a good chunk. But if they are locked in, then that's bad for them. I'm going to go Eternatus. That threatens the Torkoal more, as my opponent does not care. Now Torkoal in this tier is pretty bulky, all things considered, but not bulky enough. So that's good to have gotten rid of that, because that means my hazards are going to be up. That's going to affect Alomomola potentially. That's going to affect this Porygon Z. And now, actually, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, do I care to keep this around? I don't think I do. As my opponent Ice Beams. And I'm going to go Alomomola now, but it looks like my opponent may have left. So if they did, we'll be back with another battle. And now we're back with a team that looks very threatening. My opponent doesn't actually have any Ubers or anything like that. They've got mostly NFEs and ZU Pokemon. But these ZU Pokemon are actually really annoying. For example, Persian, very annoying Pokemon in this tier. Thunderwave, Parting Shot, and Haunt, another, whatever it wants to do, really. Ariados is a little bit annoying, but my team doesn't really rely on its speed, so I'm not too worried about that. I'm going to lead off with my Kleavor, just because I can get my rocks up, irregardless of the Hatchrim. And this Kleavor actually has a really good Spadef stat. Now, of course, it could be Poltergeist, but very good Spadef stat. Now I'm just going to click the U-turn here. Now we're going to go into my... I don't want to go into Alomomola. We're going into Dragonair, because I should outspeed the Frostlass, unless I'm missing something. And I'm just going to the Flamethrower. The Flamethrower dissuades the Ariados from coming in. Not that I'm too concerned about it. Oh, I got disabled. Oh, that's fine too. This is Specs Dragonair. Very strong, as you can see. And now what I want to do, just want to go Alomomola. So they actually could have gone for their Salt Cure there, but they decided not to. Now, one downside to this Alomomola is it's actually sort of a fast set. So as you can see, we got a fast switch out there, which isn't necessarily what I wanted to do, but that's okay. Just gonna click Close Combat here. They may click Protect if they have it. Now, Eviolite is banned in this tier, thank goodness. Otherwise, Knuckle would be insane to deal with, because Knuckle in the lower tiers is actually respectable. But without the EV light, it's just about the same as always. I will say this team could do with some heavy duty boots. Or not heavy duty boots, hazard removal. It is sort of meant to just start setting up, and letting the hazards get set up like this is probably sort of an issue. But actually, you know what? I think I'm going to go Lucario right now and start setting up. Now, Persian, like I said, could have Thunder Wave, and that would be annoying. And they may taunt, but they Parting Shot instead. That's fine. And I'm just trying to figure out what they're threatening me with. I don't really want to get messed up. Let me look at Cramorant's stats. Okay, so Cramorant's going to have doubled HP and doubled defense. So that actually is going to be sort of an annoying Pokemon to deal with. I'm going to go Dragonair instead. And then I can just click Specs Thunderbolt. I think that's safer. And as we saw, they don't have heavy duty boots on. And so getting rid of it this way is totally fine by me. I will take that 100 times out of 100. So they don't have a way to defog these hazards either. Not that that really matters, but just, you know, as a point of interest. And we're just going to go with that, so that I have my safe switch in to Lucario. And Ariados, I don't believe should be able to touch me. I've seen a lot of them running special sets, and that's okay. I'm going to keep boosting up though, because I need to hit this Hatchrim. As they Parting Shot out. See, they're going to be double HP, going to be double defense. It's going to be rough. I'm going to go for another Swords Dance, because this guy here, Poison type, Bug type, is not like a Steel type. And I don't really care what they're doing, you know? And then here, I'm just going to Crunch. Because if they decide to go hard Hatchrim, try to tank something, I will appreciate that. And if they decide to stay in, I can gauge damage. As we see, that's not quite a 2-hit KO, which allows me to actually go for another Sword Stance and max out my attack stat. This still won't kill, but as we see, that's no big deal. If they decide to go into the Knuckle stack, that's totally fine with me, because I think I'll kill them before they kill me. If they decide to tear a Ghost, that's a bit annoying. But I think we should be okay. And as we see here, we are 416 Spadef. So this isn't going to do any type of damage. Look, that was a crit, and that did 10.5%. Stab, 60 base power, Draining Kiss. That did nothing. Yeah, I'm just going to continue to Extreme Speed. As my opponent decides to go for Calm Mind for no discernible reason there. And this is what Lucario does in this tier. I've not really seen anybody else use Lucario. But even just from the builder itself, if you look at it, 70, 70, 70 is right there. It gets the boost all the way to 140. So this is the ultimate Fizz Def tank, and it has Drain Punch. So, you know, Zamazenta eats your heart out. Okay. Now we are facing a very scary team. This Deoxys defense actually used to be on this team. I think I mentioned that maybe. Lomomola used to be DOD. But it was just too many sweepers on the team, and having a regen tank was really nice. So I decided to replace it. Again, maybe it would be better to have a rapid spinner here. And we may change that at some point. But DOD, Cosmic Power, Stored Power, and it has a lot more HP and a lot more Spatak. So you have to respect that in this tier. I'm going to lead off with the Eternatus, actually. Just so I can set up a Toxic Spike. And then... actually, that just set up... Do we respect that? I'm gonna go Lomomola here, because I don't care if Lomomola gets paralyzed. So this could be heavy duty boots, and if it is, that'll be sad, I guess. But we're just trying to get everything on their team poisoned. I think that'll be good, as they do not bother going for like triple axle or anything like that, which is good for me. We're gonna count on my Dragonair's speed in this game. Dragonair in this tier can be blazing fast if it wants to be. They do get the paralysis, which is unfortunate. I'm gonna go hard Magirna here, because I can technically I can Calm Mind up alongside this. And I don't want to get Strength sapped up. I'm actually going to IDEF once, in case they decide to go hard into Calyrex or something. But I have stored power, whereas they're going to have Shadow Ball Air Slash. So I think, unless Driftblim is getting some boost I'm not thinking of, that I should win this 1v1. Let me just double check. Okay, so it does get a defense and a Spadef boost. So that is scary. Not gonna lie. We will have to respect that. And they are one up on me in terms of attack. But as we see here, they have 90 special attack. And so they aren't going to have like a super mega attack stat to hit me with, which could have been an issue. So if they crit me, then we'll take the L and we'll move on. I'm gonna go for another Iron Defense, just because that does a lot more now, I think. Let's see how much that does. Okay, that does 65. And looks like this is going to actually take me out, unfortunately. So now, can we live? I don't think we can live. I'm pretty sure we can't live. Oh, we tanked that for days. Well, okay, we'll take it. And that's why Lomomola is on this team. It does not care about your business. It just does what it's gonna do. Like, it's so tanky. It's ridiculous. Here, I'm actually gonna X-Scissor. Technically, you know, you could go Volcarona and try to get the cheeky burn on me, but I doubt they'll do that, since I've shown that I have... Wait, I didn't show anything. I was the wrong guy. Okay, well now they can't even burn me. I'm just gonna X-Scissor. It doesn't allow Calyrex in. It doesn't allow Meowscarada in. And it doesn't even allow Clawitzer in, which this Clawitzer has to be physical, in which case its ability isn't helping it. Otherwise, I do not care about Clawitzer. And I can just flip turn out. And I'm gonna go and get my Toxic Spike back up. I'm not as worried about this Deoxys because they're running a bad Deoxys set. Teleport is nice, and having the extra HP is nice. But first of all, they're not even showing like recover or anything, so they're not leveraging that HP stat. So this is really just a very passive Pokemon, and it isn't giving my opponent the help that they actually need. If that had been the Cosmic Power set, maybe it would have been more threatening. Yes, the Thunder Wave is annoying. Yes, the Stealth Rock are annoying, but it's not leveraging what it needs to. And now this, you know, Alomomola has shown why it's on the team. It has 459 Spadef and a massive 534 HP. So it's not going to die to special hits. It's insanely good. Okay. Let's see if we can get rocks up in this game. Galvantula has a high enough Spatak stat that it doesn't really... it doesn't get the boost right. So Galvantula is in the worst possible situation where it's just weak enough to be bad normally and just strong enough to not be good in this metagame either. Now, Technically, I could go into like Eternatus here. Maybe I would want to do that. Yeah, because they could Thunderwave there, and I want my Cleavor's speed stat. Actually, my opponent, I didn't even realize. My opponent also has Lucario. So that's sort of cool. We'll see whose Lucario is better at the end of the day. If I can get some defense boosts up with my Magearna, maybe we'll be in a good spot. Let's go Lomomola and just scout and see if this is physical or if it's special. As it appears to be special. I can Scald here to Thaw, fortunately. And I'm just gonna Mirror Coat here. Okay. That's fine. As we can flip turn out and all of my regen. And hopefully the Mirror Coat puts the Fear of God into them, and it appears that it has done so. Here I'm gonna go into Cleavor, and I'm just going to go back hard into Lomomola. Now it's just mostly to entice them to try to stay in. And now I'm actually going to go into Eternatus again. I think they are choice specs. And I'm just going to click the flamethrower. Yeah, they're choice specs. And we'll flip turn again. Because I'm getting leftovers recovery in doing this, right? My opponent is not getting anything by outplaying me. So we can do this all day. And I don't really care about what they have in back. Braviary, do you want to get Scald burned? Lucario, do you want to get Scald burned? Bastiodon, do you want to get Scald burned? Venusaur has Leech Seed, but who is faster? I think I could have been faster, but we don't actually ever find that out because I went for Mirror Coat. That's okay. Once again, we'll just flip turn here. Put my Eternatus. And we're just getting our HP back, slowly but surely. Eat that little apple. So tasty. Yeah, we can flip turn out, and I'm gonna go into my Cleavor. Because I can just click U-turn now. I'm gonna go into Eternatus in case they go for Giga Drain, yep. They go for Earth Power. That's alright. Now I'm going to go into my Cleavor. In case they went for Giga Drain there. Right, that would be a bit unfortunate. And now I can just go for the safe Exizor. So fortunately, my opponent doesn't really seem to know how to leverage their Pokemon. Here I'm going to assume that they were the special set. But no, they are max speed. Or at least modest, because I don't have any speed on this guy. It's only 206 speed. But that's okay to find out, because then I know I can just go Lomomola, and it actually appears that Lomomola may beat my opponent's entire team. Because that did absolutely no type of damage. Okay, now my opponent thinks that they can beat me this way. If they have... actually, that is sort of annoying. Okay. How much do we think that they're going to take from extreme speed? They will have 140 defense, so probably a lot. I'm just gonna flip turn out. And I'm actually gonna Terra Ghost extreme speed. No, I'm gonna Terra Ghost Drain Punch. Because I figured they'd go for Aura Sphere. I'm low enough on the ladder. I'm pretty sure my opponent doesn't really know what they're doing so much. And I can just go back to a Lomomola. And even if they go for whatever they go for, does not matter. I'm actually considering sacking Magearna here. Whoa. Because Magearna is just sort of annoying at this point to try to set up. And I know I have to keep a Lomomola healthy, right? I have to do that. Okay. Sword Stance up. Then I can go for extreme speed here. That'll KO you. And Teleon's gonna die to extreme speed as well. And that's really one of the reasons why this Lucario is so scary. Of course, any bulky sweeper with 140 in all of its stats. That's going to be scary, obviously. But when you have 140 in all your defenses, and you have Drain Punch for recovery, and you have Sword Stance to make sure that that Drain Punch can actually do damage to bulkier guys, and you have Extreme Speed as priority. No, this Lucario set is broken. Like, obviously, there's tons of broken things in this tier. Let's not get it twisted. There's so many things broken in this tier. The being broken in this way, that isn't really unique. I'm not saying Lucario is the best Pokemon in this tier. But imagine if this were what Lucario's stats actually were. Well, that would be insane. It would be an OU level threat, right? It would be maybe even an Ubers level threat. Because it's just beating everything in front of it. So I've tested this team today. And it did really well. In fact, I will load up a replay. I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I actually have two really fun replays to show you guys. So to start off with, here we have my opponent, and they've got a lot of lower tier threats. As we've seen before, lower tier threats, can't sleep on them. This entire tier is based around them. And so when you see them, you have to expect that at least one of their stats is going to be super good compared to what it was before. For example, Crawdon, right? Based like what, 55 speed or something. Now it's 110. Now it's going to outspeed lots of stuff, especially if it goes for Dragon Dance. So in this battle, I lead off with Cleavor. As they decide to lead off with Crawdon, their Focus Sash, that's fine. I just wanted to get a this guy dead because with priority, it's annoying. Lucario though doesn't care, it has extreme speed. Now Donphan in this tier is crazy good because it actually has basically the same attack stat as like Great Tusk, but at the same time, it has a really high speed stat. So especially after Rapid Spin, not a lot of things outspeed it. But despite having a good attack stat, a Stab Earthquake fails to 2-hit KO Lucario. Altaria, I switched out just because I didn't want to get Will-O-Wisp, but I failed to respect the fact that Altaria's attack stat is trash, so now it is amazing. And that Earthquake sends Magearna to the Shadow Realm. However, Cleavor just tanks that, fortunately for me. So we were able to get out of that alive. Now, speaking of tanking things, Cleavor can tank even Screamtail, which is another Pokemon that gets buffed. Screamtail actually has a very passable attack stat in this metagame. Cleavor is still doing Cleavor things, fortunately for us. And I think Cleavor's only stat that gets boosted is like its Spadef or something. But Cleavor is just a pretty good Pokemon in general anyway. So it earns its spot on the team by getting up Stealth Rock against annoying Pokemon like Magic Bouncers. Go-Go would be in more of a threat, or it would be more trouble in this situation if I had Sludge Bomb. I do not have Sludge Bomb, and potentially this team could benefit from Sludge Bomb over Dynamax Cannon. But there are dragons running around too, so pick your poison. Now here is where what we talked about earlier. Lucario not only has Drain Punch, but it has Sword Stance to boost that Drain Punch. Of course, this Lucario has no attack investment whatsoever, remember that. And Lucario's attack is not very good to begin with, but with Sword Stance, it can actually do some damage. Now, that was a crit, I will concede the point. But, as you're seeing, +2 Terra Blast, that stab, not doing that much damage. I'm recovering it off more at a fast enough rate that they're not going to be able to take me out. And this Crawdon, of course, dies to Stealth Rock. And even if it didn't, I would have extreme speed in the back. So Lucario just does not care. Let's look at this game. This is a cheese game. You can tell it's a cheese game because they have Unburden and they have Grookey. Now, it turns out that my opponent's cheese team isn't optimal, but even if it had been optimal, Lucario still would have blown it away. Magneton in this tier, pretty scary. I've used it, my opponents have used it. It's a good Pokemon in this tier because it gets that really fast 140 speed stat, and you can run Analytic on it, you can run Magnapole on it. I think Analytic is better. I've used it, I tested it. When it forces switches, getting that Analytic boost, you're doing 50% of Quadsire. It's a great time. Lead off with Cleavor again. As you can see, that Spadef stat being boosted, really helping out. And they're not getting the Analytic boost, unfortunately for them, because they are fast. They should not have stayed in. I don't really know if they had a switch in, which is why we let it. But, Now we're not going to take a Sucker Punch or an Aqua Jet there for no reason. Lucario comes out. They go into Hatterene, which is sort of a crazy play if you think about it, because I am a Lucario. But Hatterene does have that boosted HP stat, and so it is sort of bulky. But fortunately for them, I don't have Meteor Mash. Unfortunately for them, I have Crunch. I take a Do Extreme Speed there because I don't want to take the extra Mystical Fire. Now this Combustion comes out. I could have predicted the Protect there, but we don't have to predict it because we're Lucario, and we're not going to take anything from this Combustion anyway. I'm going to heal it all back. I almost KO, I don't quite KO, and now, of course, as we've seen before, I have Extreme Speed in the back. Now, they're going to go to Drifloon, and they're going to forfeit. I'm assuming they may have had Grass's Seed on this, we never actually find out, but as we know, I have Crunch, I have Sword Stance to boost past Strength Sap, and I'm already boosted to hell and back. So really, at this point, there was nothing my opponent could do. So this was not off a lead necessarily, but basically off a lead. Lucario just 6-0'd my opponent. Again, Cheesy team, but this Lucario just does not care about Cheese. It is the real deal. 140 in all of its defenses. Sword Stance, Drain Punch for recovery, Crunch for coverage. And the Terra Ghost, as we saw in the other games we played earlier, does come in clutch when you are trying to dodge super effective fighting moves, which will be coming your way, at least on occasion. But that'll be it for me today, and I'll catch you guys next time.